I'm not going to hold things up any longer talking about this stuff because I discovered a new channel. And oh boy, are they out there? Let me introduce you to. Let me hold on here because I'm going to get it blowed up before I share it this time because it messes with it when I don't. Okay. I don't know what it is about on here, and I'm just still not used to it. It's like when now you have to share the tabs in order to be able to share the sound. So, anyway, there we go. This is Alpha and Omega Productions. Most of their videos, and I've looked through a few, consist of like audio of sermons, but also interviews with people, evangelical-minded people, about just the world today and lamenting the coming of Jesus has not been here, is not arrived yet to save the righteous and smite the wicked and all that good stuff. So that's the majority of the channel, not exactly content. And I put it over like a slideshow of videos, short videos that sometimes they steer the sermon based on the visuals. And we're going to talk about some of the psychology at work here for the audience. But this is a brand new channel, and this video specifically is actually going to fall into my cryptic corner category, specifically because this is the claim that CERN is opening up portals to hell. So if you're interested in finding out about that, scientists at CERN won't admit it when science fiction is no longer science fiction. All right. Are we ready?
Of what I've already described.
No, it's jumping ahead to the last place I was. There we go. We're going to start from the beginning. How fast do I got this going? 1.75. I'm going to slow it down a little bit.
Let's first talk about CERN and the Large Hadron Collider.
Put it down to 1.5. It's a long video.
So I've seen pictures of.
It's a long video, so I'm going to keep it at. We're going to keep it at least 1.5. I might drop it down to 1.25 when they get to the portal stuff. But we got to get through a lot of preamble here first. And the preamble is important to the final claim, and we are going to explore some of the aspects of the final claim as we move along. So, with all that in mind, let us continue.
Of it and all kinds of speculation and theories. Give us a quick definition first, just from a purely scientific point of view, what the purpose, what the collider is, what its purpose is.
Okay. Well, the scientific purpose is to take particles and accelerate them towards reaching the threshold of the speed of light, and to then collide them, fracturing them into smaller particles for the purpose of trying to determine the basis for creation, trying to find the building blocks of the universe and all known life.
I don't know if you can find any evidence that CERN has ever claimed to be looking for the origins of life in their experimentation. Of course, I'm welcome to be proven wrong. Please prove me wrong on that. But that's my claim. Yeah, but this is not a new concept either. So this stuff's been around since like 2015 about CERN. But continuing on, we're less than a minute in, barely less than a minute, but still have a 51-minute video, and I have a lot to get through here, and it's going to be a wild ride. So buckle in. Show Me Sasquatch. This is right up your alley too. We're talking about some extra dimensional Illuminati underground stuff. It's going to get wild.
And that's what science will tell you in the public arena. But where my research has led me is into the hidden agenda at CERN. And that's really been my calling from the Lord, is to really reveal the truth behind the public agendas at CERN, which is a nuclear research facility utilizing a particle collider.
Now, it's in a giant, somewhat circular shape that covers, how many miles is that whole collider?
Yeah, as you travel along it, you cover 27 miles,
27
17
miles.
kilometers. Well, geographically on the map, it's located on the border between Switzerland and France. It's near Geneva. It's a sovereign state unto itself.
What's a sovereign state?
That would be a self-governing body,
So
much like the Vatican.
So the collider, I never heard this before. The collider is in its own state, like the Vatican,
And similar to Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia.
So it's based on, I guess, their theory or research or whatever that.
And I mean, that's so far nothing wrong has been said about this, but there's just it's laying the groundwork for conspiracy. So, because he is like, but in my research, I've discovered this, and then says things that are like well known, but they're pretending it's just being kept hush hush. You don't have to go far to learn that that CERN is, of its own autonomy in Europe, because it's funded by all these different nations to do these experiments that it's doing. It's not a secret, but if they make it sound like there's something duplicitous going on there, it adds to the that people experience.
Crack open atomic, subatomic particles. Just crack them open. They're saying, at least publicly, that they can find the secrets to the origins of the universe, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But you say that this is not like speculation. It's from your research. You're saying that behind the scenes, they have a hidden agenda.
And that's not true that that we can understand the way that particle physics worked. We can now we got a controlled environment where we can experiment with particle physics, and understand some of the reactions that these atoms have, that these particles have under these environmental pressures, and how they react, and how that may have helped form the universe that we live in today. We can know more about it than now. This is like similar to doing like a reconstruction of a fossil to understand how the environment was like at that time.
They're not admitting to the public.
That's correct.
Tell us what your research leads you to believe their hidden agenda is.
Well, it's interesting because today it is no longer hidden. They are not hiding their goals. In fact, they're in a pronounced fashion announcing it. Last year, the previous director of the Collider facility announced that their goal, openly, is to open a dimensional gateway to another dimension. You might call it a portal. And when you begin to put that in the context of our everyday reality, that seems absurd. And he also made the statement that we don't know what we will find or what may come through from the other side, but we're willing to risk it.
This is mind-blowing. So we're not talking even really about your research. We're not talking about speculation. So Anthony, this is not conspiracy theory. This is the published statement of the former head of CERN, and he's talking about. Did he use the word entity? What word did he use?
No, he did not use the word entity. Oh my goodness! Out of this door might come something, or we might send something through it. Yeah, nothing about entities or anything like that, or that. Oh my goodness!
No, he didn't assign a title to what might come through. Just that he didn't know what would come through.
He didn't know what would come through. So that's kind of ominous.
It is.
We're cracking open a hole in this dimension. Am I correct?
Yep.
And we don't know what would come through. From your research, tell us what you think he was implying, and what has your research revealed about what's really going on.
Well, the research has revealed that they're already in communication with the other.
That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, so you can have big fancy glasses over a screen mask. I can't wait to see that. Make sure you share that in the Hive too. We're going to do a costume contest in the Hive. So if anybody is part of the Hive on Facebook, you can submit your picture. Just submit it into the Hive. This is gonna start. I was gonna start it Monday, but we can start it now. So you can submit them this weekend. If you're a member of the Hive, definitely submit your Halloween costumes. I know that most of you all probably won't submit them until the 31st. We're gonna look at them on the 1st, but because the 1st is, let's see here. Yeah. The 1st is a Tuesday. So we can look at them on Tuesday after Halloween and see who had the best costume. We'll have like a poll and stuff. It'll be fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing that. This will be the first time that we do anything like that in the Facebook group. So yeah, if you're not a member, join. If you don't follow me on Facebook and can't find it, it's called the Hive, just the Hive. And if you follow me on any other social media, I can send you a link to it. It's a little fun group. Anyway, moving on.
Research has shown that they're already in communication with what on the other side?
Well, in my reference, and I think we share this, these would be demonic entities.
His research shows that we are in communication with demonic entities. Now, I thought when I was watching this before that there was more preamble than this, but we're only 4.5 minutes into this video, and he's already said, yes, demons are coming through the portal at CERN. Okay, so moving forward.
And what have they assigned a word to the communication to these beings or whatever in another dimension?
No, other than to say that these perhaps are our benevolent ancestors from the stars who are coming to solve all of our problems. And
who said these are our benevolent ancestors from the stars? I think that you are making claims about what they're saying to make what's actually happening seem more mysterious and maybe nefarious and secret underground experiment thing going on there, because the oh my gosh, a hadron collider, what are we gonna, it's in the middle of Europe, and it's kind of famous, so it's weird that you're I like how they're using all the different sky portals and stuff from all the superhero movies. That's kind of funny, because usually folks like this, and they're going to talk about that in a minute here too. They're going to talk about like social programming. Yeah, let's see here.
Remove all of our ills from our society.
This is so powerful. This is what you're talking about is a paradigm shift.
So they're saying, benevolent beings coming from the sky, and they show the Shatari, like the evil world-devouring army from space.
That's just about ready to detonate on planet Earth.
That's correct.
This is going to shake up the faith of many Christians and people of belief and non-belief. It's going to shake their very view of reality to the core, just like when Darwin's theory of evolution was promoted. It just tore up people's view of reality.
Right.
God didn't create us. We're evolved animals. I mean, that just ripped up the fabric of the entire sociological, spiritual structure of the planet.
The paradigm shift.
Right, the paradigm shift. And so we're right.
Sociological. Oh, man. So sociology only works so far as the human construct of the way we interact with each other, right? So we don't have to know about how the world works in order to be social and have these social paradigms set in place. And some of those paradigms didn't actually comport with reality, but they were a perception that we had as a social species in order to maintain the social organization that we had. But we have, again, as a species, moved well beyond the need of those social paradigms, and we're to a point psychologically where we can transcend the social standards of the cultures that we grew up in to embrace reality that science and technology have presented to us.
Well, has the paradigm shift begun, or where are we in terms of that?
In the popular culture, it has begun because we're seeing the predictive programming in the mass media,
in the films and
commercials. Think of it in terms of brainwashing.
Right.
We are predicting the behavior of humans using human behavior modeling in the computer, using a program that if we put out this stimuli, we will achieve this type of response in human beings, no matter the culture, no matter where they live. And so this is going to what we're going to talk about in a moment, is the adiabatic quantum computer, which is artificially intelligent. Predictive programming, in essence, is saying if we create this program, a television program, a movie, and we put in images that are violent, we put in images about portals, we talk about aliens being benevolent, then it becomes sort of, in their mind, a self-fulfilling prophecy that people will believe the lie, become victims of the grand deception of predictive programming, and therefore will follow lockstep whatever it is they're being fed, so that you are able to modify their behavior and make them become part of the New World Order and follow the beast system.
This science of predictive programming that you were talking about,
my research shows, how many times have we heard this, and what was the actual research? Yeah, he doesn't give any citations. He's doing the journalist thing and being like, oh, I can't reveal my sources.
This is science. I mean, this goes back before H.G. Wells, the great science fiction author, and Aldous Huxley, Brave New World. They were
There's Stargate. Robbie, are you in the audience? I know you're a Stargate fan. I know this is the movie and not your show, but yeah, we're open. They think CERN is opening Stargates.
employing predictive programming. And the Star Trek series, developed by Gene Roddenberry, as you know, was for the purpose of predictive programming to promote a UN global government.
Right.
And now, as you just said, all these science fictions, superhero, technological, singularity movies,
Transhumanism,
right?
Transformers.
Everything from Captain America, it is just embedded with this
in the culture.
Exactly. And so young people are they're conversant in what you're saying. But
And it's funny they keep saying that we're presenting the extraterrestrial beings as benevolent, going to help mankind and things. But if the media that we're putting out, what they're talking about here with the programming, if the media that we're putting out is supposed to prepare us for, or mentally and psychologically prepare us for this coming demonic invasion that they're wanting to present to us as benevolent, why are all the portal entities in all of these media in different franchises always malevolent? Why are, again, I'll refer back to the Sky Portal in the first Avengers movie, or the Sky Portal the Sky Portal in the Suicide Squad movie, or the what else comes from a portal? Stargate. There was evil aliens on the other side. What other portals are you showing us now? There was the portal that went to the world that Doctor Doom got mutated in that reboot of the Fantastic Four that was just yucky. Anyway,
more importantly, what you're saying, these movies like Divergent and The Hunger Games, those movies are embedded with subconscious subliminal messages.
Absolutely.
They're not designed to be, in my opinion, just entertainment. They're employing predictive programming.
There are no portals in The Hunger Games that I'm aware of. Are there portals in Divergent? I've never.
And let's go to the recent television show, Lucifer, how they portray Satan as a debonair ladies' man, British accent.
Wow.
They're making Lucifer look good.
Lucifer was an angel, babe. Lucifer would look good, right? I mean, the angels were supposed to be so freaking hot that mortal women couldn't resist them. That was part of the product. That's why God had to flood the planet, because these angels were full-blown hotties. There's no reason to assume that he's been deformed in some way, like what we see here on the screen now. Let Lucifer be hot. He's an angel. He should be hot.
Right. Making
So
Lucifer look
talk
good.
about programming people
Right.
into believing a lie.
Right.
It's right in our face.
It's right in our face.
Yep.
So people being programmed, and we know that the result of this is already measurable. I was doing research the other day, and the fastest growing religion in America is Wicca, which, as you know, is paganism and witchcraft. And number 2 is Islam. So now, this collider and these beings that they're in communication with. So we're talking about the premier scientists on
Who is in communication with what beings? Where's this claim cemented in? You're just saying from my research. You don't cite anything, and I don't. When I look into this, all I find is a bunch of conspiracy theory stuff. So where are your facts coming from, my dude? Because
planet Earth right now, who are actively engaged, according to their own words, communicating with something with a personality, in their own words, from another dimension, and that's the purpose of the collider. I mean, people need to understand this is not science fiction. This is fact.
That's correct. What I write about in my
That is not fact. I don't know where you're claiming that fact is coming from. I've researched this over and over again, and I don't find any resources that claim that that CERN is communicating with extraterrestrials or demons or any other creatures beyond some portal that they generated by colliding particles. That doesn't seem to be what's happened, what this machine has done.
my novels.
Right.
I place a storyline that is embedded with science fact. Everything that I present publicly in the books, public speaking, is all drawn from their own scientific journals and white papers. And then I'm able to see what they're doing. Not just extrapolate, but see in the real time what it is they're doing.
You're able to see what they're doing.
doing. Not a future agenda, but what they're doing right now today. The imminency of what they intend to do, which is opening this gateway. And understand that
there's no gateway. This is, I guess you could call it a scare tactic to claim that there's a gateway. Good morning, Michael Granado. We are going to be doing something together too next month. We're talking about domestication, and Michael's a science history buff. I like science history too, and I like animals. So we're going to talk about domestication. I know we're going to talk about the domestication of the dog, because that was the OG domestication result. But there's been so many animals that we've domesticated or semi-domesticated in the past, and we're going to talk about that process, how it interacts with the genetics of the organism and the morphology of the organism. And how we can select for what would be considered deficiencies in a wild environment. Things like that. We are definitely going to have a lot of fun, maybe some good laughs too. Maybe we'll make it a Thanksgiving show, because I mentioned talking about the domestication of turkeys. And turkeys are an excellent example of the domestication process, because what we call the domestic turkey now is a fairly recent addition to the animal kingdom. And we can see those differences take place over selection, over the selection process, very similar to what we see with like pigs. Anyway, I'm going to get off the rails on that, so let me move on.
world of science in terms of particle physics also overlaps into DNA, into biology.
Yes.
There's a multifaceted, multi-level agenda at play, not just with CERN, but it's proof of concept feeder labs around the world that feed into CERN. So we were talking about changing humans, changing the planet. We're talking about not only bringing in information through a portal, we're also talking about definitively changing our way of life. This is a threat to our existence, to the creation of mankind.
A threat to our existence.
Oh, that's the other one I was thinking. I couldn't remember the strange. That's a Stranger Things references here, because Stranger Things has portals. But what was beyond the portals in Stranger Things? Was it benevolent angels that they were trying to condition us to welcome? No, I think anything popping out of a portal right now, based on modern media, is going to be met with extreme fear and maybe prejudice. So even a benevolent alien is going to have a hard time popping through a portal right now, just based on our media, based on what we see in movies and in TV shows. Cletus is going to blast the visitor with his shotgun before he takes it to his leader, because he's been trained that aliens that pop out of portals want to kill us and take over our world.
Threat to the creation of mankind.
Oh, here we go. Here's some of the images that this is what drew me to this topic, really. I came to this topic a really weird way. I was actually looking for what we're going to cover in Creation Watch today, because Creation Watch today is going to be actually kind of fun. And we'll get to that in a minute. But that actually, the pathway I took to get to this was looking at the images from the CERN that same website had. And they're like, oh, there's faces in here because they're opening portals to hell. This is the view of a portal looking into hell, and these are the creatures that wait inside. And there's the image was in the thumbnail, really clear periodolia. I don't know how you could claim it was anything else, but those will pop up here in a second too.
So they're communicating with some kind of entity. You and I would believe
there we
these
are.
entities are fallen angels.
Yeah. This is periodolia, and they double down on it by outlining what they want to be the outline of this alleged face, just based on the pixelation. And have you ever pointed a camera into a dark space that's open, that's deeper than your camera's light will pick up, and it will do this? It'll generate this patchy, pixelated black and white area as it tries to bring into focus what's beyond the area of light. It's not actually picking anything up. It's going through, trying to find depth out there. It's darkening and lightening pixels and little waves, and looking for anything that it can present to you on the screen. But these are, it's not generating face either. It's just random. But if you can connect the dots with the faces like these folks did, you can make this one looks kind of like a Bigfoot. Maybe Bigfoot is beyond there too, because you look, You can see my mouse. Okay, yeah. So like this would be the allegedly the nose, and then these the eyes. But there's this big brow ridge up here above it, and the lips are kind of heavy, and the nose is really wide, and the cheeks are really wide. I think this is a Sasquatch. If this is supposed to be, so Sasquatch are actually beyond the CERN portal and not demons, based on this face right here. This could be an alien too. I mean, the eyes are a little small, but maybe it's a gray alien, like, and he's like squinting because he's looking through the portal, like, you know, like when you look through a car window or something to see if it's your, you know, person, if it's somebody you know inside or whatever. You've been down and squint. Maybe he's looking through the portal like that. He's a gray alien, and Sasquatch is behind him, like, dude, don't go in there. So yeah,
Right.
And then your research has shown.
Oh, here's another one. This one's extra boxy. This, again, this is the same phenomena, just the camera going through the waves of lightening and darkening the each individual pixel, looking for or trying to capture an image that's not there, or any kind of image that's not there. And it's not looking for faces. Again, it's just capturing. This is just the way that it goes through its cycle to try to pull the image in. And this one came out really boxy. Looks maybe like Doctor Doom, which is ironic because they had Fantastic Four earlier. Or it could be like a skeleton, like a living skeleton, but with like a Terminator skeleton. Maybe this is a Terminator. If it was a Terminator, though, the eyes would be dark. They'd be glowing red. We could probably Photoshop it to make this a Terminator, and then put it back out into the woo-woo community and be like, CERN has opened a portal into the future, and the machines have come through. See how they do with that. Yes, we are just looking for monkey faces. We're just monkeys looking for faces in the environment around us. That's the bottom line. All right.
This is being distributed to feeder labs all over planet Earth, and who knows what other kind of research institutes and technology, because they have an end game of radically restructuring man, woman, the entire planet. This is almost.
I kind of get the feeling that they think that this is the same narrative that would say that getting like the vaccine for COVID was a ploy to alter our DNA, things like conspiracies like that, because these things stack.
Well, it's an impossible question, but in a brief summary, give our viewers an idea of.
Was it pareidolia, or was it a Terminator portal into the future? Maybe that one was just shut down. That's why his eyes weren't glowing red. You don't know that, GeoSam. It could have been a portal into the future. We still need to do a time traveler, though. So if you're familiar with any time travelers, not for next week. I already got next week mapped out, but for the week after that, I would love to do a time traveler episode for CrypticCorner. So if you are familiar with any specific cases, send them to me, and I will pick from the cream of the crop. The reason I don't want to do it next Saturday is because next Saturday is the Halloween show, and I already got everything planned out for it. So don't miss that next week. That is October 29th at, again, 9:30 a.m. So yeah, don't miss that. All right, moving on.
What their radical end game is.
Well, my answer is radical. Ultimately, it is to kill God. In the hubris of Satan, of Lucifer, he believes that he actually has the ability to kill God's angels and kill God. He believes he can create a new heaven on earth, that he can create a new race of beings. He hates everything that God has created, including us. And he is the mirror image of everything.
This is all extra biblical stuff. Would you channel that information? Did it come from special revelation? Did you have a near-death experience and God set you up on his knee and told you about what the devil's plan was? Can the devil actually kill God? That's your claim, that the devil thinks he can kill God. Can he kill God? And if he can, why are we not helping him? Because God is awful. I don't know anybody who can read the Old Testament and think that, yes, this is the being I want in charge when they look at Yahweh. No, we should be doing, if the devil and his demons are enemies of God. The enemy of mine enemy are my friends. God is the enemy of the human race, unless you're in his special club. Unless you're in his, I mean, for the longest time, it was just the the people of Judah, the Israelites. But with the new covenant, it's expanded to anybody who accepts Jesus into their heart. But they are wanting to oppress the whole rest of us. The devil and his demons already in the lockdown. Any of the rest of us in the whole world who die go into this lockdown. You're basically you're in the waiting room for prison, for an eternity of prison, just because you don't bend the knee to a tyrannical creator. And this is just, within the blankets of the mythology, right? So we should be teaming up. We should be working with, if we can open a portal to let the devil out of hell so he can finish whatever his plan is to take down the tyrant. I mean, yeah, sure, maybe he's going to get tyrannical himself, but it's better than the system that's in place. I don't know. Sorry, ranting.
Everything that God has created that is all that is good. And so if you 180 that, if you flip that over, if you make it a mirror, think of everything that is good in the world that God has created, go to the opposite side, and that's what Satan's goal is, to present his form of life and his form of heaven here on earth using technology. Now, I need to make it clear that I don't hold any ill will against the scientists, the researchers, engineers. They are deceived into believing one of the original lies, that ye shall be as gods, that you will have immortality. That's the carrot.
I don't know if any of these scientists are like, well, this might open a portal to hell, but I'm going to be immortal. I don't think that that's ever been their decision on it when they're deciding what they're going to do. Yeah.
So the scientists and the technology people, many of them are under the spiritual delusion or spiritual deception,
right,
that they're evolving man into, I guess, a superhuman or a god man.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Continue. So if they're thinking in terms of what we are doing is
because CERN was so preoccupied with creating the Uber mesh. That was their goal, right? They wanted to create the Uber mesh. No, that's not anything to do with CERN. This is getting really off the rails.
For the betterment of mankind. That's the compartmental aspect of their research, the compartmentalization that they work in. Outside, they are cut off from the outside of who's promoting.
Have you ever heard such a blatant what do they call it, Luddite argument? Because what a Luddite is when they created the printing press, these individuals who would scribe these books threw a big fit about it. It was the electronic printing press, the people who had the old presses that they used to use back before the advent of the printing press. They were angry about it and said this technology was going to ruin the world, and that we were working towards the end time with our devilish technology. This is back in what Titan, you're out there. What year was it that the Luddite rebellion or whatever it was, where they rebelled against the advent of new technology? That's basically, this is just a 2022 version of that.
The machine, who's funding it, to what end? So if you were to ask one of those researchers and say, are you guys trying to open a portal and let in demons? Or are you trying to terraform the planet for a new race of beings? Like, what have you been smoking? Kind of response. Because they are cut off. We have the opportunity, being removed from that compartment, to see it from a different perspective, from a bigger perspective, and that's given to us through the Holy Spirit, through that discernment. We are able to see what is hidden. We do our research, we do our due diligence, but then we clearly see what is really going on. One of the examples, going back to your initial question, the statue of Shiva, the god of destruction. Yeah. Right there.
They say, I don't understand this technology, therefore it's the devil. I wish I had a clip of of Mama from Waterboy saying, what was it, science is the devil or something like that. I'm going to get some Waterboy clips to play during my videos.
Here outside the headquarters at CERN. They produced a video last year from CERN called Symmetry, Complete Satanic Rituals. Recently, just a few days ago, there was the opening of the Goddard Tunnel in Switzerland near CERN, purely demonic rituals.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Go ahead, sir.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That video
Wait
of the demonic rituals
Yes.
of opening the tunnel. And I only had a brief opportunity.
that looks like performance art. Why is this a demonic ritual? This looks like it's these people like on Circus Delay wires and projectors and elaborate costumes. And we got looks like some cultural elements from Alpine culture with the horned entity really ingrained in Alpine and Northern European culture as well. That imagery of the wild man, the horned wild man. There are other wild men too, of course, in those traditions, but this is just a cultural thing. What was this other one that they showed? Let me look back a bit because they were talking about Shiva and
The headquarters at CERN.
this thing. What do they got going on here? Let's see. I'm gonna Google this. So it says what satanic ritual to Shiva CERN. Let's see what we come up with. Someone has been conducting. Hold on here. Ooh, that sounds. Oh, video unavailable. Well, that gives it a nefarious undertone, doesn't it? CERN ritual hoax. Oh my gosh, there's a whole article about it. Look, Wikipedia has an article about it with sources from The Guardian, The Huffington Post, Popular Mechanics, The Independent, and Snopes, the fact checker. So this is what Wikipedia should be. Yeah, let me show you guys this. People, the Wikipedia haters, let me lay something down for you here. People will say Wikipedia is a bad source, but I'm going to teach you guys something right now that people don't understand. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. So I'm going to teach you guys something right now that there's nothing wrong with doing with Wikipedia. There's nothing wrong. Where did I lose my StreamYard? There you are. Okay. Just making sure that it was showing up on here. Well, that's not even showing the same one. Hold on. That was now I got to go back in and change it. Sorry, peeps. Give me just a second. I got too many screens open, but I opened some more because. Okay. Yeah, here we go. All right. So Wikipedia, right? Wikipedia is not a good source for information. No, it's not. You don't use Wikipedia. It's not a source at all. It's not even. No one claim Wikipedia is a source. Wikipedia is a hub for sources. Yeah, there's going to be some breakdown of basic information, and it even tells you which source or which resource that information comes from. Even if you highlights it down below. So you are not quoting Wikipedia when you read a CERN spokesperson stated the video was a prank and that no one was actually harmed. Right there, you can hover over the 3 and say you're not quoting Wikipedia. You're quoting Popular Mechanics, CERN scientists under investigation after fake human sacrifice. And you can go to that article and read it. But this is what it says, basically right here. You can fact check that, and if you got a problem with what it says, well, you just pop right out into the talk section and you say, "Hey, this article says that this blah blah blah," but you put into the Wikipedia article that blah blah blah, and they will, and the group will look at it and peer review the citation and make a determination on it. It's very, Wikipedia has come a long way since the early days when it was first finding its feet. But yeah, it's not a source. It's a hub. It's a hub for resources. This entire section here, hover over that, all comes from this top article. So you can go onto the top article. Fake human sacrifice filmed at CERN with pranking scientists suspected. That was The Guardian. Yeah, it goes all the way down to this stuff here. Fact check photography, with faux being spelled like F-A-U-X as in fake, was a human sacrifice captured at CERN. So this is a pretty well-known prank, right? And that's how, yeah, I'm a little passionate about this topic because I'm so sick of people saying Wikipedia can't be a resource. Yes, it can. You just have to know how to use it. Just have to know how to use it. Say this sentence comes from this article, this sentence, or this paragraph comes from this article, and you can go to the articles and see it. And if it says citation needed, that's where the gag comes from for the memes and stuff. That's where the memes are from, because citation needed on a Wikipedia article. If it does not backed up by a citation down below, which you can rank the validity of yourself and go to the articles and listen to read what they have to say, or listen to what they have to say. Sometimes it's a video, very rarely, but sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, back to the video. Sorry about the tangent. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Back to. All right, here we go. Continuing on.
They produced a video last year from CERN called Symmetry, Complete Satanic Rituals. Recently, just a few days ago, there was the opening of the Goddard Tunnel in Switzerland, near CERN, purely demonic rituals.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
Go ahead, sir.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
That video of the demonic rituals
Yes.
opening the tunnel, and I only had a brief opportunity to look at it. I saw what was going on. It was openly demonic. It was devoted to the worship of Satan.
It's in our face.
But I knew that
It was devoted to pastoral
Realize it's connected to the whole sin
alpine culture.
Well, physically, it's not connected.
Right.
I want to make that clear. But in the sense of the spiritual world and
Right.
the communication
I
through
see.
ritual,
Okay.
they are
Right.
connected. And in fact, in that ceremony, that demonstration, they showed the opening of the portal that CERN will achieve.
Flash mobs is the devil. Mama says flash mobs is the devil. Hey, Quill, good morning. Good morning. She's not chaotic. Her destruction is not arbitrary. She does it specifically to make things better. Yeah, Shiva is, she's the wipes it out, and then so that a new structure can be built, right? A new reality could be conceived in the place of it.
And the tunnel itself represents, in physics, quantum tunneling, which is a communication utilizing an artificially intelligent computer, an adiabatic quantum computer, which runs its computations through another dimension, retrieves that information from another dimension, achieving a solution that we can use in our world.
For real, they're talking about opening a tunnel. Just a tunnel. A tunnel from one place to another that goes underground. And there's some mountains, I believe. Oh no. It's the devil.
Now that is real. That's not fantasy. That comes
Right.
right from the manufacturer. This is the machine that is employed now, just recently, now at CERN, and will be responsible for the initiation.
Naked boobs! I wish our culture wasn't so uptight that we didn't have to cover up naked boobs, because I love boobs. I don't think there's anything sexual about boobs. The reason that they're sexualized is because they're taboo. I love boobs. Stop being weird.
Of the opening of the portal and the stability, the holding open of the portal for the receiving of, and I'll give this definitively, it's digitized DNA, demonic DNA in a digitized form.
Demonic DNA in a digitized form. Citation, dude, trust me.
Ones and zeros coming through this portal, received here, reassembled, if you will, and then presented to a hybrid body.
Because as you said, Lucifer desires to be God, as the Bible says, and Lucifer desires to create his own race in his own image.
Exactly.
And I think you would agree that this is very hard for many Christians to grasp. It's a truth that's hard for Christians to really own. And that is, the world is exactly as the Bible says that it is.
Yes, it is.
And there's an invisible world, Lucifer at the top, his hierarchy of demons. He compartmentalizes information on a need-to-know basis. And at the very top, there are men and women who are open Luciferians.
Yes, indeed.
They have committed themselves. They participate in rituals to the worship of Satan because, as you said, they believe that they're going to conquer Christ,
Yep.
and Satan is the true, or Lucifer is the true God.
That's right.
Now, you said that, and I
Are Luciferians? I always get the sects of Satanism mixed up. Let's see, Luciferian. Not a song. I guess there's a song called Luciferian too. So Luciferian. I'm just trying to figure out if they're the legit Satanists who believe that, and worship Lucifer, or if they are the atheist. Luciferian Satanism. Okay, so there's theistic Luciferians and non-theistic Luciferians. That makes sense. Okay, so some of them believe in actual Satan, and some of them believe in it as in a figurative sense. I know, like Aaron Rock recently converted to a satanic sect. I don't. Was it Luciferian? Anyhow, sorry, I keep stopping it to research. I should have done before, but this was a long video.
I said that, and the Bible says that, but for some reason, there's almost a veil in the minds of many Christians. And I pray, as we interview you, that the Holy Spirit would just break that veil of deception, and that God's people could really see reality as it really is, instead of living in this kind of fog state, which is their unbelief.
I see what you did there with the fog state and the fog machine. Good go. Actually, it seemed like it wasn't a very good day for a fog machine because the wind's just whipping all that fog right away. It's trying to generate
God's word.
Well, let's use the collider for our purposes.
Okay.
Let's call that.
Oh,
evidence.
cool.
It's physical.
Oh my gosh, those are beetles. Check that out. Those are gorgeous beetles too. I love that. I love this performance art. I like going to see this kind of stuff live. I even went to see, even though it's like really like religious kind of, I went to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they do stuff with the jumping around on the suspension wires while rocking out on guitars. It was pretty badass with lots of pyrotechnics and stuff. Yeah, it was a Christmas concert with pyrotechnics and heavy metal guitar and wire work and stuff. It was pretty rad. I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff. I know a lot of people aren't into live theater.
It's tangible. It's right there in our face.
Right.
If we accept the symbology they have presented, which is demonic in origin,
Yes.
their statues, their videos,
Yeah.
and we take that at face value as definitive evidence to
Yeah.
a hidden agenda,
Right.
we can say there's the machine, the most powerful machine,
That's not even from the thing. That's a video game or
the
something.
largest machine ever created in recorded history of mankind. And that is definitive proof that we have a problem. This is a extinction level event, this opening of the portal. If we look at the wars...
Did you say extension or extinction?
Extinction, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
extinction level, okay.
If we look at the wars that are going on...
They really hate flash mobs. Look at all the flash mobs that they're like, these people are doing choreographed dances.
Right now, imagine if that portal was open. The key to the bottomless pit is the Large Hadron Collider. If they were to turn that key and open that doorway...
Flash mobs are the language of the devil.
And we were flooded, the wars would seem insignificant and all the other ills of the planet compared to the opening of this portal. This is why it is imperative, because it's right now today, and it's in our face, and it's tangible proof. That breaks down our own veil.
Okay, so Anthony is telling you in a methodical, rational, logical way that we have evidence. The visual pictures, the videotapes, the published statements of the heads, some of the
A lot of this seems to depend on that fake satanic ritual, doesn't it?
heads of CERN, and they are saying in their videos and the visuals and the evidence that you're talking about, if you showed it in a courtroom, it would be acceptable evidence of openly demonic worship of Satan and open admission of many of the agendas that you talked about. Now, since this is true, and it is true because you have evidence to back up what you're saying, and it also, there's no conflict between what you're saying and the Bible. In fact, the Bible would support what you're saying.
Revelation 9.
Revelation 9.
Let's see here. What is the objective of theistic Satan worshippers? They want to go to hell and be tortured. I checked out of religious stuff a while ago. Well, it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier on in the show, that, if Satan has a plan to destroy the oppressor God, Yahweh, who is at least from the human perspective, who is very, very evil. I guess if evil's, I don't really. I think evil's like just a point on a spectrum that that we have for our individual moral compasses. But who is evil and needs to be stopped. He's basically keeping us in just a temporary waiting room to put us in a torture chamber. So I guess a theistic Satanist would want to free Satan so he could attempt to defeat Yahweh. Would be the end goal, I guess. I hope that gives my interpretation. Yeah, dancing is a sin, flash mobs.
And when their hidden agendas, when the fruit of their hidden agendas, when these beings start moving through the portal and entering into the earth, I don't think most Christians are ready for the physical manifestation and the supernatural changes that are going to occur in what we call our present.
Oh, UFOs. So UFOs are involved in this now. So UFOs are from CERN, even though UFOs have been sighted since they really got into the, and I know the UAPs or whatever, unidentified aerial phenomena is the preferred vernacular these days, but since World War II, UFOs has been, or Foo Fighters was the original name for them, and then UFOs took over once they started investigating it at a scientific level. They couldn't call them Foo Fighters anymore, but yeah, so long before CERN,
reality. Our present reality is about ready to be violently shaken and reshaped. They are already in communication with something that has a personality and has ability to communicate.
Yeah, and I would argue that theistic Satanists are Christians too. That would be a sect of Christianity because they follow the Bible, the Christian Bible. They believe the Christian philosophy and mythology to be true, so they would be Christians. Theistic Satanism would be a sect of Christianity.
And the information that they're receiving must be very high level information because they're feeding it to laboratory.
Oh my gosh, you guys know I'm not going to have all these UFO videos pop up here and not identify them. What you see here are mylar balloons tethered together in a bunch with a foil finish, probably foil finish on the back, at maybe 300 feet up. So not up into the wind yet, but enough to be or not up into the actual stream where they'll start drifting away, but to where they're just getting kind of battered around by the ground level breezes.
Stories and technologies all across the planet. And what you said, which is so sobering, that video on the internet that captured it was an open satanic worship ceremony, I guess, in the Goddard Tunnel.
Yes.
And I saw it and I was like, my mouth hung open because it was so in your face, Luciferian and satanic.
I would say we've probably not seen something that bold in the mainstream media.
No, we haven't.
In our lifetime.
No. And, there's been...
Beware the flash mob. Beware Bavarian culture. Because, I mean, this is... that's what I see here. I see a lot of, like, Swiss culture, maybe some mix between Swiss... Because I think that the tunnel went from Switzerland to Germany. I saw the German premier, prime minister, in one of their clips. But, so... they're embracing their combined alpine culture. See the Alps behind them there? You know what this culture did, pastorally speaking? Because they had these little valleys that were not exactly fit for a lot of cattle, but they were fit for a lot of ovids, a lot of goats and sheep. Specifically goats, though. So goats became a popular livestock in alpine culture and is a symbolic of alpine culture and the pastoral shepherd culture well before Christianity entered the region. And this is a homage to the shared culture of both of these alpine nations as they connect against this tunnel that they've built. It's not satanic or Luciferian. and it's weird that you think it is. Look, there's the Alpine trumpet guys with their big horns.
Escalation, and it keeps getting faster and more bold and more prominent. The Illuminati symbols at the Super Bowls and these giant musical performances in stadiums by music superstars and the Olympics. There are in-your-face occult messages and satanic messages and symbols, which tells you there's a very powerful Luciferian elite in this world, very active, and they're not hiding anymore.
No. These are actually kind of these performances that they're showing are actually kind of awesome. It's performance art. I don't know. Again, live theater's not for everybody, but that doesn't mean that live theater is the devil. Even if it uses dark and scary imagery, it's theater. It's performance art. They're telling a story through dance. Pay attention.
They've come out
because they've progressed in their timeline to the point where they feel invulnerable and no longer have to hold back. In fact, they want to be more bold about it so that they can gather themselves more converts to their way.
That would make sense.
Away from us.
So this is like with the performance art thing again here. It's like if you took all the clips from all the Disney movies, all the Disney cartoons, I'm talking about the animated classics or whatever, it just clipped out all the villain scenes and the villain monologues and villain songs, and then said, oh, man, Disney's an evil corporation. Look at their values. Look at these are their characters that they create. When you show performance art and just show the antagonistic force or the dark force or whatever. Sometimes the heroes are dark anti-heroes or things of that nature, and that's not a new thing. That's been around for a long time. I think a lot of people would consider Christ an anti-hero, at least at the time that he was out doing his thing. He would have been an anti-hero because he was kind of a Robin Hood. He was. There was a reason why the officials captured him and crucified him. What he was doing was rebellious. He was an anti-hero. He wasn't out killing people, but he was living outside the law. I don't know if you call Christ a dark character. His story's kind of dark, but just again, look at the Passion plays, for instance. That's performance art right there. That if you take it at face value, that doesn't look well for Christians. And I understand that you all find beauty in his sacrifice and all that good stuff, but. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to.
That would make sense because here in the U.S. we have this rise in the satanic churches, just openly recruiting.
Oh my gosh, they were showing DNA and a human egg, and now they're showing a classic piece originally created by Leonardo da Vinci.
Evangelizing, which wouldn't have occurred even 5 or 6 years ago.
That's correct.
Now. We're talking about how the information distributed to the scientists and others is compartmentalized. So you talk to many of these scientists, and I talked to some of these scientists, and they have no clue as to what you're talking about. And it was obvious to me.
The first social network of brains lets 3 people transmit thoughts to each other's heads. That sounds awesome.
To some of them is that they only have compartmentalized information. Now, you and I would agree that it's kind of Lucifer's organizational structure is pyramidal.
Absolutely.
With Lucifer on top, and then it's on a need-to-know basis. Kind of like a corporation,
where
Lucifer is the CEO, the founder, the chairman of the board.
So
where is the link to Lucifer? You still haven't made that link.
At the highest level, and we know this from reading the documents behind the founding of the United Nations and so many other organizations. These people were disciples of Madame Blavatsky, who openly promoted the worship of Satan.
Absolutely.
So. Who would you say?
I keep getting Blavatsky references here lately. What's going on?
Who would you say is running this thing, driving it on a human level? And
True.
Ultimately, I know they're using lower level sources who's financing this?
Right out of the Vatican.
Right out of the Vatican.
If you need to put a figurehead to that, we can call it the Pope, but he's a figurehead much like any president or dictator. Right. But he is the figurehead for the structure. The Vatican finances.
Here we go. Let's turn the. You all ready for some Catholic conspiracy theory? So. If you're a American Baptist, you lap this stuff up like it's mother's milk.
And creates the governmental controls for the entire world. It doesn't matter the culture or the government. Everybody in lockstep takes their orders from the Vatican. If you were to look at our legal systems, no matter the country. They all derive from the legal system that is put forth by the Vatican. Now, they have their minions that are sprinkled out and infiltrated into many organizations like the Illuminati, but the short answer is the Vatican. They worship Saturn, the black sun. If you look...
Saturn, the black sun. That's terminology I'm not familiar with. Now we're getting into the part of this video I haven't really explored too much. Let's see. Saturn, the black sun. Saturn, the black sun. Is that a terminology that's found anywhere? The black sun is a Nazi symbol. Schwarz Sonnen. A type of sun wheel. Yeah. Black sun, Saturn. It's a rock band based on Pink Floyd and Crimson King. So I don't know what you're talking about, Bob.
At and look for images of Saturn in the clothing, in the adornments, in the temples. You will see representations of Saturn everywhere. This is the satanic worship of their false sun, their false god, Saturn. That is where they derive their energy from that worship of their false god, Saturn. Now, that sounds absurd. Most people would never put Saturn and the Vatican together. But
I don't believe you. You're showing me different things, different art and images and prints and things like that, and claiming that there's some overarching symbology between the pictures, but you're not elaborating on what those overarching similarities are. If they're from some secret Vatican code, that maybe was it was cracked in the 15th century by Leonardo da Vinci. You did have his image come up there, so we have this. Or his the man thing. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, the guy on the wheel. So I mean, we're talking about Da Vinci and secret codes by the Vatican. Some kind of like Da Vinci Code.
it's easy enough to see. It isn't that occulted. And therefore, who's running CERN, who's pushing the agenda, comes right out of the Vatican.
But at the same time, outside.
Oh my gosh, and CERN is in Switzerland. Who guards the Vatican? The Swiss Guard. Doom, doom, doom. We're going to make a lot of inferences.
Of the organizational structure and hierarchy of the Vatican, there are many Catholics, like the late Malachi Martin and others, another guy who they say he committed suicide by hanging himself, but that was very doubtful.
Right.
Malachi Martin, a Catholic, and I believe he was a Jesuit, warned, as a Catholic apologist, he warned of the incense of Satan penetrating the Vatican. And what he was saying, as you know, is that he was alluding it was his thesis, Malachi Martin, that Satanism had penetrated the Vatican.
You reached an epoch.
Right. So you're not saying all Catholics are.
Certainly not.
Right, okay.
I mean, that's, again, that is unfounded. And, I mean, yeah, people have conspiracy theories about all kinds of things, including, Satanism and penetrating the Vatican and all this good stuff, especially coming from outside of the Catholic Church.
Talking about, if you will, a governmental structure,
Right.
A political, a theological structure. We're not attacking people,
Right.
But we're looking at the structure that was assembled and promulgated by Satan himself, and the direct, in-your-face worship of Lucifer by that hierarchy in that structure.
Okay, so it's interesting to me because I get emails from everybody, and you have one segment saying it's the Jews who are responsible for all the evils in the world,
Sure.
and protocols of the learned elders of Zion, and it's some.
Oh, how far? We got a whole 26 minutes in before they dropped the J word.
Say it's the Vatican, and there's this whirl of confusion. I don't want to totally get into that, but
Sure.
It is interesting though.
It's funny when conspiracy theories are like, wait a minute, is it the Jews or is it the Vatican? Because it can't be both. Which one is it? I think we're going to wrap this up here. We'll give it a couple more minutes, but I got other things to cover, and we are only 26 minutes into a 51-minute video, and I am it was fun at first. Now starting to get into, well, and we may revisit this. We'll see.
That the Vatican has had a number of spokesmen, and I believe the current Pope recently made a statement, and tell me if you know the statement, alluding to the fact of some kind of extraterrestrial alien visitation. Tell our viewers about that.
Well, he's come right out.
Maybe I won't.
He said that.
Maybe I won't wrap this up in a second. Holy crap. Alien extraterrestrial visitors. That just gave me a cryptic pitch in a tent. Oh, goodness. I lost my place. Where was I? We were past the flash mobs. There was our dance rituals. We were 26 minutes. That's what I was just talking about it. So
it's the Jews who are responsible for all the evils in the world.
Sure. With quote aliens, which is a broad stroke term in itself, he would welcome the opportunity, and I'm paraphrasing, to baptize another form of life, aliens. Where's that in the Bible? Right. That's my challenge to him.
And there's been a number. I mean, they have as I understand it, some kind of Vatican ambassador, that's not probably the right word, program for ETs.
Sure, and the UN. We have a UN spokesperson for the visitation by aliens. That person, I forget her name at the moment, but she is our world representative. Take me to your leader scenario.
And then we have and there's been prominent discussion.
What's wrong with that?
A whole series of presidents in the last 20 years where this
agenda, this scenario is played out. Ronald Reagan.
Right, yeah, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan would be one, and Clinton and Obama, and a lot of them.
Sure. Wouldn't that go back to Kennedy and the space program, or even further back than that? Because Kennedy wasn't the one who snagged von Braun and all the rocket engineers from the Third Reich. Talking to the 40s with Eisenhower. So, right. This is the drive to explore space. Goes back a lot further than Reagan and his Star Wars.
So
those are hints. Those are tantalizing to the masses.
Okay, little hints. Yeah. So what do you tie that into the CERN collider, and tell us where you think this agenda is going?
James Corden watching Barack Obama on TV, like just thrown in there.
Well, I think we've addressed it to the extent of opening the portal to communicate. Let's talk about maybe someone else that everyone will recognize.
Sure.
That's Dr. Stephen Hawking, one of the most renowned particle physicists in the world, a mathematician. He made the statement, I'll paraphrase, but he said, we're addressing the agenda, the purpose of CERN. He said, you do not want to open this interdimensional gateway because you don't know what's going to come through.
So would he have been? Would you call him a critic of the program?
I would, in the sense of their goal of disturbing the fabric of space. Right. Because he said that if we
I don't know, does Hawking's
tear the veil,
critic of CERN?
The hadron, the God particle,
so
the Higgs boson.
Oh yes, right.
They allegedly discovered this in the latter part of 2012 and into 2013. He said that if you disturb the Higgs field, which is part of this Higgs boson scenario, you could disturb that enough that you would create vacuums, a vacuum bubble that would envelop at the speed of light, not only this planet, but in the entire universe. Now, this is coming from an eminent scientist, mainstream scientist.
So I think that we're crossing hairs here, because Hawkins was talking about the God particle. That's where because I remember him talking about something that we could do that would wipe out the universe. Let's see. In a preface to his new book, the famed physicist fears that Higgs boson becoming unstable and causing a catastrophic vacuum decay, but how likely is that really? Yeah, we might look into that, but
right now that hasn't happened. It hasn't played out yet since the discovery of the Higgs boson, and I apologize for the lapse, but what he is addressing is this rift, this opening of this portal, this interdimensional gateway, because he recognizes
he didn't mention a gateway. He said it would cause a catastrophic it could possibly cause a catastrophic vacuum decay, which seems to have not come to fruition. So that's a good thing. And Hawkins can be wrong and still be a genius. It was a I don't know, it looks like, just a prospective claim.
That there are entities on the other side that should not be in our realm, that barrier needs to be maintained.
Wait. Stephen Hawking recognizes that there are entities?
Yes.
And did he use the word entities or a similar word?
He uses unknown.
Wait, okay. Stephen Hawking's claims black holes are portals to another universe, but there's no coming back. We're going to Google that too. Because headlines, right? This isn't talking about, I don't see anything where he says anything about creatures being on the other side of it or entities or anything like that. I don't think it's saying, I'm Googling this and I'm like, it doesn't even matter because he's talking about the Higgs boson here. He's talking about black holes being portals to another universe. Okay. That doesn't have anything to do with the Higgs boson. Why are we bringing this up? Kind of correlating. See? So you gotta pause and read what they're actually citing up on the screen because they're so full of it. This doesn't have anything to do with this topic at hand. This is him talking about what he thinks black holes, how they function.
Unknown energies. Right. But he's referring to entities.
In our parlance.
Okay, in our parlance.
Unknown energies, and they say, but he's referring to entities in our parlance. Yeah, in your wild speculation of the way the universe works, sure, he's referring to in any kind of energy could be an entity in your worldview.
So he's concerned about unwanted visitors.
Yep.
A home invasion, if you will,
sure,
from another dimension.
Look at these more headlines that. Occultic CERN. Physicist claims large hadron collider may open portals to another dimension. This is the woo that's out there about CERN for sure. It's been pretty well debunked. Look, that's from 2015.
By entities.
That's correct. He's not the only one that's raised that issue. Okay. Not necessarily vacuum bubbles, but this communication in this opening. So there are enough atheist-oriented scientists out there who've been suppressed, but you can find their statements on the internet. This isn't conspiracy theorist origin. These are mainstream people who are saying, we really shouldn't do this. In fact...
Yeah, why are they always anonymous, though? Why are you keeping your sources secret if you're releasing this information? And then claiming these are mainstream scientists. This could be some... I'm not saying that I fully support that the people that you aren't being duped. You may be sincere as possible and be being duped by the same fraternity of scientists who did a satanic ritual hoax outside the facility. Sounds like a goofy, fun group of scientists. So if some of them are sending you these wild claims, it looks like they're really into pulling pranks on people. So you should probably watch your back on that. Anyway, that was Cryptic Corner for this morning. Thank you so much for popping in. It was a little bit of a long one. I did enjoy it, and hold on here. Let me wrap this show up with what Titan Uranus has to say about the topic. Hawking actually expressed disappointment at the confirmation of the Higgs boson as it made physics more boring in his opinion. Yeah. All right. So that was Cryptic Corner. Thank you for popping in here. If you're watching Friday, I'll see probably, I don't know. It's Friday. So whenever I may be popping over into GERS or something like that, or maybe on Math Pigs. Who's doing a panel tonight? I heard Skylar was going to start doing panels on Friday nights. So maybe I'll be over there. Anyway, I'll see you around. Take care. Be kind.